Alright, guys, I'm back with hopefully, this will be the conclusion of my DVD collection, and I'm gonna get right into it. And I'm gonna try to go through these even a lot quicker than the others. So, here we go. Next up, Scanner Darkling, starring Keanu Reeves, Robert Downey Jr., Woody Harrelson, and Winona Ryder, directed by Robert Linklater. Next up is Scent of a Woman, starring Al Pacino and Chris O'Donnell. Next up here is School Days, starring Lawrence Fishburne, directed by Spike Lee, who's there on the back with the bald head. Next up, Secret Life of Bees, starring Jennifer Hudson, Queen Latifah, Alicia Keys, and Dakota Fanning. Next up here, Seven, starring Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, with Kevin Spacey, directed by David Fincher. There you go. Next up, 7 Pounds, starring Will Smith. Next up, we have The Shepherd, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme. Next, we have Sherlock Holmes, starring Jude Law, Robert Downey Jr., Rachel McAdams, and Mark Strong, directed by Guy Ritchie. Next up, Shrek the Second. There you go. Next up, we have Shoot 'Em Up, starring Clive Owen, Paul Giamatti, and Monica Bellucci. Next, we have Sin City, directed by Robert Rodriguez and Frank Miller. Special directed scene by Quentin Tarantino. Next up, Slow Burn, starring Ray Liotta, LL Cool J, Mekhi Phifer, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Taye Diggs. Next up, Smoking Aces, directed by Joe Callahan. There you go. Followed by Smoking Aces 2, starring Vinnie Jones, Tom Berenger. There you go. Next up, Guy Ritchie's Snatch, starring Brad Pitt. Next, Snow Dogs, Cuba Gooding Jr. Next, Something's Gotta Give, starring Jack Nicholson and Diane Keaton. Bernie Mac's final film, Soul Men, co-starring Samuel L. Jackson, directed by Malcolm D. Lee. Next up, The Spirit, also starring Samuel L. Jackson, Scarlett Johansson, Eva Mendes. Next, Stardust, Star Trek, Step Up 2, The Streets, Street Kings, Keanu Reeves, Forrest Whitaker. Next, Sum of All Fears, Ben Affleck, Morgan Freeman. Next, Summer School, Mark Harmon. Next, Superbad, Jonah Hill, Michael Cera, Seth Rogen. Next, Sweet November, Keanu Reeves, Charlize Theron. Next, we have The Tailor of Panama, Taken, starring Liam Neeson. Very good action movie. Next, Taxi Driver, starring Robert De Niro, Jodie Foster, Harvey Keitel, directed by Martin Scorsese. Next, Terminator 2, Judgment Day, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton, Robert Patrick, and Edward Furlong in his first feature film, directed by James Cameron. Next, Terminator Salvation, starring Christian Bale, Sam Worthington. Next, This Christmas, Time Traveler's Wife, starring Eric Bana and Rachel McAdams. Next, Total Recall, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Next, Training Day, Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke, directed by Antoine Fuqua. Next, Traitor, starring Don Cheadle and Guy Pearce. Story ironically, by Steve Martin, the same Steve Martin. Next, Transporter, starring Jason Statham, followed by Transporter 3. Because why I had Transporter 2? Probably leaving it out. I don't know. Next, we have Tropic Thunder with Ben Stiller, Jack Black, and Robert Downey Jr. in an Oscar-nominated performance. I think he would have won that any other year if he was nominated. Robert Downey Jr. that is. Next, True Romance, directed by Tony Scott, written by Quentin Tarantino. Has an all-star cast in it. Next, 2 Weeks Notice, starring Sandra Bullock and Hugh Grant. Next, Tyler Perry's Diary of a Mad Black Woman, written, directed, and starring Tyler Perry. Next, Tyler Perry's The Family That Prays, starring Alfred Woodard, Kathy Bates. Next, Tyler Perry's I Can Do Bad All By Myself, starring Taraji P. Henson, written and directed once again by Tyler Perry. Next, Tyler Perry's Mother Goes to Jail. Next, Tyler Perry's Why'd I Get Married. Next, Undisputed, starring Wesley Snipes, Ving Rhames, and a good supporting cast as well. Directed by Walter Hill. Next, Untraceable, starring Diane Lane and Colin Hanks. There you go. Oh. Next, Up in the Air, starring George Clooney. Next, U-Turn, starring Sean Penn, Jennifer Lopez, Nick Nolte, Powers Booth, John Voight, Billy Bob Thornton as well. Unrecognizable Billy Bob Thornton too. Next, Usual Suspects, followed by Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman. Next, Vanishing Point, good road movie. Next, Varsity Blues. And then, don't want to drop them here. Let's move these out of the way real quick. And then next we have W, starring Josh Brolin, directed by Oliver Stone. Next, The Whackness, Ben Kingsley. Next, Wanted, starring James McAvoy, Angelina Jolie, Common, and Morgan Freeman. Next, War of the Worlds, starring Tom Cruise, directed by Steven Spielberg. Next, The Warriors. Heard they're supposed to be remaking this. Hope not. Next, Watchmen. Next, The Way of the Gun, starring Ryan Phillippe and Benicio del Toro, along with Taye Diggs, Juliette Lewis, and James Caan. Next, The Wedding Planner, starring Jennifer Lopez and Matthew McConaughey. Next, What Just Happened, starring Robert De Niro. Next, Who's the Man, starring Dr. Dre and Ed Lover, and a bunch of cameos in this movie as well. Very funny. Next, Wonderland, starring Val Kilmer. Next, The Wood, starring Omar Epps, Tay Diggs, and Richard T. Jones. Next, X-Men: The Last Stand, which I think that movie should have went totally different than what it did. And last but not least, X-Men Origins Wolverine. Heard there's supposed to be a sequel to this, and I hope so. This one was very good. And that concludes my DVD collection. I thank everyone who watched all 5 parts here. And I will see you guys next time with either another update and a review as well. I need to start doing more reviews, or as I like to call them, my thoughts on, because I don't really give traditional reviews. I usually just give my thoughts of what I thought about movies. And like I say, once again, I thank everybody who watches my videos and everything. Also, I got to do some shout outs. Not going to do it in this video, but I'm going to dedicate one video to give a few shout outs to a few people. But like I say, thank everybody for watching, and like I say, rate and comment right down below there, and continue to watch, and I will continue to make videos for you, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.